Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I am Vania Asif from second year Perfusion Science at Dow Institute of Medical Technology, and this is my colleague Sara Naveed Alam. Today our goal is to share the presentation on sickle cell disease along with complex congenital heart surgery. If I told you that one of the most common complications of sickle cell disease is having episodes of pain so severe that it is often considered as having pain at childbirth or even non-fatal heart attack, yet it can be completely invisible to the eye. What is sickle cell disease? Sickle cell disease is an autosomal recessive inherited hemoglobinopathy where the RBCs look like crescent moon. This happens because of the single genetic change in beta globin gene in which the glutamic acid is replaced by valine at position 6. And in this case, we have no normal hemoglobin, whereas abnormal sickled hemoglobin is present with some percentage of fetal hemoglobin. The fetal hemoglobin is the natural potent modifier of sickle disease. It works by inhibiting the polymerization of HbS molecules, which prevents sickling. What can trigger sickling during CPB? Hypoxia, hypothermia, acidosis, and low flow states. We have a patient of 11-year-old male with African American ethnicity. He has a known condition of sickle cell disease, homozygous, where he inherited the genes of sickle cell disease from both of his parents, and he had a chief complaint of pulmonary hypertension. He was going through routine echocardiogram where he was diagnosed with anomalous right coronary artery, and then he was diagnosed with anomalous right coronary artery arising from left coronary sinus from tomography angiogram. Now, to delve into the case, I would like to share my floor with Sara.
Thank you, Vanya, for that detailed overview of the patient profile and the introduction to the SCD. Now, after understanding what the problem was, the next question is, how was it managed? I'll take you through the care process of what happened before, during, and after the surgery. Let's begin with pre-operative phase. Before a single incision is made, the success of cardiac surgery is already being shaped in pre-operative phase. In this case, the patient was admitted a day before surgery and hydrated with warm IV fluids to maintain the body temperature and to prevent sickling. The body temperature was kept warm around 101 degrees Fahrenheit by room temperature regulation. Hemoglobin electrophoresis was done to check the levels of hemoglobin A, fetal hemoglobin, and the sickle cell hemoglobin. Complete blood work, including CBC, metabolic panel, coagulation profile, and the cross-matching for transfusion was done. Fluid input and output was strictly monitored to maintain hydration, as adequate hydration prevents sickling. Pre-surgical review, physical examination, and pre-anesthesia evaluation were conducted, and organ function, particularly of the lungs, kidney, and brain, was assessed. Moving on to the next slide, the slide shows the pre-op lab results where we can clearly see the increased levels of sickled hemoglobin, about 73.7% and 22.4% of fetal hemoglobin. Moving forward, let's proceed to intraoperative phase. Anesthesia plan. Multi-modal analgesic technique was established. Temperature management. All intravenous solutions were pre-warmed before infusion and the patient was maintained normothermic. Next is surgical procedure. A median sternotomy was performed and all relevant cardiac structures were isolated. Now to the section we all can relate to, perfusion setup. The CAPEX RX15 thermocardiovascular CPB circuit was used. Bicable and ascending aortic cannulation ensured complete and controlled bypass. The circuit was primed with a balanced solution containing osmotic regulators, anticoagulants, anti-inflammatory agents, and electrolyte stabilizers to maintain hemodynamic and metabolic equilibrium. Activated clotting time ACT was maintained greater than 480 seconds using heparin. The exchange transfusion carried out by CPB prime to reduce sickle's hemoglobin below 30%, removing 60% of the sickle blood volume. Further reduction to 19% achieved through ultrafiltration. Finally, case progression. The patient remained on full CPB support with continuous ABGs monitoring, with perfusion pressures maintained at 50 to 70 millimeters of mercury. Hemodilution and hematocrit was maintained to keep the blood thin enough for smooth flow but still enough RBCs for the oxygen delivery. Adequate urine output was ensured. After surgical repair, the patient was gradually weaned off CPB under stable hemodynamics and normothermia. Protamine sulfate was given to reverse heparin. The patient was successfully decannulated. That was it for the intra-ops part. Quite a lot, right? Now let's discuss the challenges faced by the perfusionist during the surgery. Perfusion challenges. Several challenges were encountered during this procedure. The foremost was the prevention of RBC sickling, requiring the careful control of temperature, oxygenation, and perfusion parameters. Next was the management of warm oxygenated prime and normothermic bypass. Constant regulation of hematocrit, blood viscosity, acid-base balance, and electrolytes was required. Additional challenges included coagulation control, air management in circuit, and the simultaneous handling of ultrafiltration, blood infusion, and oxygenation. Finally, the last phase, the post-operative phase. Patient was shifted to the ICU with stable vitals, maintaining normal body temperature and adequate oxygen. The patient was kept on mechanical ventilation initially and extubated once fully stabilized. Continuous monitoring of ABGs, hemoglobin, hematocrit, and electrolytes with adequate urine output. No sickling or perfusion issues occurred, and the patient had a smooth recovery and stable discharge. Thank you. Now I'd like to call Vanya for further discussion.
So what have we learned from this case? You have to plan really well. Reducing sickle hemoglobin below 30% is very important. Keep the patient warm, well oxygenated with high pressure, and pH must not be acidic. Pain must be well controlled, and a team-based approach of surgeons, hematologists, perfusionists, and anesthesiologists is the key. Heart surgery is already very complex. Add sickle cell disease to it and it's like defusing a bomb. But this story shows that with teamwork, we can defuse the bomb safely with the right steps. Thank you.